Have you ever heard of the beef hammer? Well, it's one of the most beautiful pieces of meat that you can put on your barbecue.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
The reference of this piece of meat is because it looks like Thor's hammer. But there's a story behind this beautiful beef hammer. You see, I helped out a neighbor with some chores on his farm, and in return he showed up with this. Well, of course he didn't have to do that, but hey, I'm not gonna say no to a beautiful piece of meat. So I'm gonna make sure I turn this beef hammer into the most delicious beef hammer you've ever seen. As you can see, it's a rather thick piece of meat. And that means we need to work to bring plenty of flavor on the beef. Flavor-wise, you don't have to worry of over-seasoning it because the beef itself has a lot of flavor. So therefore, you can use plenty of flavor on the outside just to balance it out. I'm going to start with some Worcester sauce. That's going to be my binder for the seasoning to stick to. And also with seasoning, I want to go double down. So first I'm going to use some PITMASTERX Texas seasoning. That's going to be a good base layer. And in the end, it's going to really enhance the flavors of the beef. This seasoning is really going to make the beef flavors pop. And to give it a more barbecue style pop, I'm going to use the PITMASTERX Deli seasoning. And deli stands for delicacy, and this is a really good all-purpose seasoning. Thank you, Bertus. Please don't interrupt me. See, my rooster's getting all excited. Don't know why, because he's not getting any. Look at that. I'm gonna give the beef hammer about 15 minutes to soak up all the flavors from the seasoning and to make sure that the seasoning sticks to the meat. And in the meantime, you and me, we're gonna fire up the Napoleon Kettle Pro. The first thing that I'm gonna do is take some bricks, and this is maybe an unusual method because it doesn't come with the grill, but it works so well. So I'm gonna take some bricks, regular bricks, and I'm gonna create an indirect zone, which means I'm gonna have my charcoal on one side of the bricks, and on the other side is where I'll be smoking with indirect heat. Then I'm gonna put in some charcoal. I'm going to put in a fire starter, and I'm going to light that up. The charcoal's not there to cook the beef hammer. The charcoal's there to get the real fuel started. You see, the beef hammer is a large piece of beef, and that means it's going to take a longer time to cook, especially with a big bone inside of it. And I want to cook it all the way up to 96 degrees Celsius, so it has that fall off the bone texture that I'm looking for. And for longer cooks on lower temperature, I like to adjust my fuel. So I got the charcoal in there, and that's perfect for grilling at high temperatures and fast if you're in a hurry or you just want to grill something. But if you want to go really low and slow, I like to use these things. Well, those are coconut briquettes, and they are so hard and so tough that they actually need something to get started with. And that's what the charcoal's for. And then I'm going to place these on top of that so that they can slowly burn up. And probably 4 or 5 of these will do the job, and they burn up to 8 hours. While I'm waiting for that fire starter to burn up, I'm already going to put in some brandy wood smoke chunk. I'm going to place that on top of the coconut briquettes. Now I am sure that I'm going to get a good even cook throughout many hours. Once the fire starter burned down, it's time to put the grill grates on. Just going to try and let it sit up straight. Close the lid. Is it going to work? Yes, it fits. All right, now I'm going to open the top vent all the way, close the bottom vent to one stripe open, and I'm going to just let it come up to temperature. And once I see that I'm at the sweet spot of 140 degrees Celsius, which is around 280 degrees Fahrenheit, then I'm going to slowly close the bottom vent until the temperature stables out. I've been smoking now for 40 minutes, and that is the time that it took to get the barbecue up to temperature. It's now running at 150 degrees Celsius, and it's a bit much, so I'm going to tune it down just a little bit. Top vent a little bit, and the bottom vent to almost all the way closed, like really a tiny bit open, just a little bit of airflow to keep the barbecue going and to keep it up to temperature. Now we're going to have one quick peek, and that looks good. That is what I'm looking for. We've got plenty of rolling smoke. We've got plenty of heat coming into that beautiful beef hammer. And now we just gotta let it do its thing. Of course, I'm gonna need a barbecue sauce on the outside of that beautiful beef hammer. So therefore I've got the perfect recipe. I'm going to take half a cup of pineapple juice. I'm going to add about a cup of ketchup, a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, And that is a mandatory ingredient. It makes a barbecue sauce taste like barbecue sauce. Of course, I'm going to need some sugar. So I'll be using a dark brown sugar. I'm going to use half a cup. A lot of people wonder why I use so much sugar. And the reason is, if you make a barbecue sauce sweet, you're only going to use a little bit of it, and you're going to want that caramelization in the outside of the meat. That's why people love barbecue so much. That's why it tastes so good. Now here I have a little kick, and it's optional. Let's put it that way. I got the Scorpion hot sauce from Tabasco. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons. You can leave it out completely if you want to. It's quite, and then I'm going to add the deli seasoning from PITMASTERX. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of that and a tablespoon of the Texas seasoning. I'm going to close the lid and I'm going to give it a good shake. And that is how you make a super easy and super tasty barbecue sauce. Always make sure you do a taste test. Ooh! Wow! Sweet and spicy. Maybe 1 teaspoon is enough on the hot sauce, especially the Scorpion version. What I'm trying to say is quite intense. The beef hammer reached a core temperature of 70 degrees Celsius. Time to take it off. And look at the bark that we built up. Look at that. Oh, insane. Look at it. So beautiful. It's almost like a work of art. Come on. That's barbecue as good as it gets. I'm not going to add anything yet. Now by wrapping it up, we're preventing moisture loss during the rest part of the cook, because we've already smoked it to perfection. It looks good. It picked up all the smoke flavor that it needs. So all I need to do is now properly cook it so it can fall apart on me again. Let's put it back in the barbecue. It's been a little over 6 hours cooking time. It's time to finally take the beef hammer off. And now I have to unwrap it carefully because it's still a little hot. Now, I recommend letting it rest for at least an hour or so, but at the moment I'm just too curious, to be honest. I'll let it rest for about... Ooh, it's falling apart already. Oh, that looks good. Let's pour on a little bit of that barbecue sauce. Look at that. Now that is how I like it presented. Barbecue sauce on top of that beef hammer. Oh, that looks so good. All right, cool down a little further. Is it gonna fall apart? Fall off the bone, tender. Oh yeah. It's just like super soft. I got a beautiful smoke ring on this. An absolutely perfect bark, but what does it taste like? Wow, that is the good stuff, guys. This is one of the really cool things that you can make on a barbecue. Personally, I think that the beef hammer, it has all that show effect, but it still has value. And it means that it's great to eat. You can share it with friends and family. And if you put this on the table, everybody's going to be happy. See you guys in the next one. Cheers. Mm.